All right, trying something new here. As you may have caught up to, I had trouble uploading from this new iPhone to YouTube yesterday, and finally figured it out this morning, this afternoon. Felt like morning to me. Anyway, William Friedman here, author of Land That I Love and Mighty Mighty, editor of Age of Certainty, all available now or soon from Rebel Publishers. And here it is Sunday afternoon, the 19th of January, 2014, at Arisia at the Westin Boston waterfront. And I'm sitting here in the volunteer lounge, just taking a little break between the last panel, which was about the writing process, and getting ready for the next one, which is about the roots of horror. And considering my work in progress is horror, maybe get some good ideas there. All right, so anyway, first I want to show you something. Hold on. Okay, it's not unusual for someone to be walking around Arisia this year with a Tanya Huff novel. She is, after all, the guest of honor. And it's also not entirely unusual to see someone showing off their autograph of the guest of honor. But what makes me more than a normal fan is I got the lip print in a shade of lipstick that Tanya tells me is Rosetta. This is not my only one. One of these days I'll do a post on just how many authors I have the lip prints of, and the quantity and the names might surprise you. It's not weird, it's not a kink, it's just my thing, and it's amazing how many authors are willing to do it. No one's ever said no, and it's also weird that, to me, that no one else has thought of this. Anyway, I have fun with my little hobby. All right, so what have I been up to? Well, I went to MaltCon last night, and I tried this Lefroy quarter cask, and that was very, very good. I tried this McCarthy's whiskey. It's Scotch style, but it's American. It's out of Oregon, and I'd read some good things about it. Didn't live up to the hype, to be honest. It's not a bad whiskey, but it's not as good as you may have heard, in my opinion. And Ardbeg, which is something that I'm really quite fond of. They have, and I can't pronounce the actual cask that this is called, but there's this like super Ardbeg that I think kind of won MaltCon, in my opinion. I was only there for about half an hour, and I might have stayed there longer had I not started with this Ardbeg, because, I mean, everything else I tasted after it, I just wasn't up to it. So anyway, went from there to Dr. Horrible, and I saw the Tesseract players do their Shadowcast version of Dr. Horrible, and then of the commentary, which they have now retired because it's dated. And I can see why. I was kind of skeptical of that, but its time has come and gone. It was a lot of fun, though. All right. Also yesterday, I was on a panel about rules meant to be broken. Are rules meant to be broken? And of course they are. I mean, we're writing fiction. We're not reporting facts. So, of course we can play a little fast and loose, as long as we know what the rules are, and we break them with purpose and with skill. I also offered up a few rules that I think ought to be rules, and they're rules that I write by, and I wish more people did. And I'll probably do a blog post about this, but just off the top of my head, 3 things. I hate writers as pro tags. It annoys the piss out of me when Stephen King does this. All his pro tags are are either writers or they're sheriffs, and or small town sheriffs. And if they're small town sheriffs, the exposition character is a crime novelist or something. I think it's hackneyed. I think you got to get outside yourself. The other another thing that I think ought to be a rule is re-examine your commitment to the present tense as your standby, as your default. I I have a great deal of respect for Shizine Publications, and I know the Shizine publishers not well, but I've run into a couple of times, and I really like the authors. Two of their authors are beta reading Pitch Ribbons, the horror novel in progress that I mentioned before, and but there was like a whole year or 2 years when pretty much everything coming out of Cheesing was in present tense, and it got kind of thin after a while. So I'm not saying I'm against it. I like the sense of urgency it gives, but I can also see is that if you're putting out longer works and longer works after longer works after longer works all in present tense, it wears thin. And then lastly, and this is my big bugaboo, is that I think very often when you read a book, you hear dialogue and you see visuals. It's like the author doesn't read books, they watch TV and movies. And I think the more you engage your other senses, the richer your book is going to be. Anyway, I'm on my way to Roots of Horror, a panel with a couple friends of mine, Hildy Silverman and KT Pinto and other notables. And I'm probably running late, so let me get to that. I'm posting this from there.